I'm I.B. Dent. I came here as Director of Student Activities, and then I took on the Performing Arts. And at the very end, I taught a few classes because I gave up student activities the last year or two because I felt my age was a disadvantage. I sometimes have disagreements with faculty. Faculty think that you come to a university, some of them think, you come to a university just to gain knowledge, book knowledge basically. I think a university is way more involved in that, and I think not more important, but as important is the interrelationship that students learn, and leadership, ability to put things together and create organizations and so on. So MUAB, Memorial Union Activity Board, was just a wonderful thing, and it was going before I got here. But oh boy, we sure did do all kinds of shows, and they learned, in my opinion, a lot. And that's what I think committees like that are very good. And we were known really nationally because of the quality of the work that the students did, meeting the truck, put the equipment up and hung the lights and everything like that. But the kids were so good here at helping those artists come in. And I had a t-shirt one time that said stage crew on, and one of my stage crew students said, "What are you doing with a stage crew? You're not stage crew." I said, "Well, they're under me." He says, "Well, stage crew means that you work and you move things." He says, "You don't do that." I said, "What do you mean I don't work?" And he said, "Well," he says, "what you need on there is pointer. You say, that goes there." NACA has regional and national conventions. We were very active in that here. We were I was head of Kansas for years, and then Heart of America, 4-state area. And I ran showcases at these, when you go to these conferences, so you could see acts right there. And you know, oh, that comedian's good, I want to get him. And at that, you then met the agents of all these companies. And so I ended up knowing and becoming a good friend of a number of the agents. And that really helped because they'd call you up instead of you calling them and say, "We got somebody at KU, and then they're going to be at the University of Colorado, and you're on the road, and I can cut you a good deal." And so, yeah, those big schools pay the bigger money because they have it more than we did. And there was just a lot of that going on. The most expensive was Alabama. Alabama was $94,000. They gave us a good base price, and then there was a percentage after that. We ended up making about $4,000, so that came out okay. Now, if you add in extra expenses, we probably didn't make anything. But we did Pure Prairie League, Marshall Tucker, Cheap Trick, a lot of them. Most of them drew about 4,000 to 5. The Alabama one drew a little over 7. So that was the only one that we were absolutely sold out in. And then, of course, all the entertainers ended up staying at my house, all the single ones pretty much. Not all the bands, some of the bands, but not many, because I really didn't want to have a rock band in my house because I'm at work. When I moved here from the other school did not have good motels, just old town of 5,000, old wooden things. And the first entertainer that I brought to that school, I went to him and said, "Why don't you stay at my house instead of here?" And she said, "No." It was Padraig. The next morning at 7:30, she was at the door because there'd been some muskrats or something running around underneath. So that started the tradition there. When I moved out here, I thought, well, the entertainers aren't going to want, they all much prefer staying in a motel because you have to share the bathroom at my house with my boys. I had a couple of foster kids. And so the first person I booked was somebody from out in this area or in Kansas. And so I put them in a motel. And that entertainer went to one of the NACA conferences and says, I'm going to B school, his new school. And they said, oh, great. And they said, you'll have more fun at his house afterwards with a party and the picking. He says, oh, I'm not staying at his house. And this other musician looked at him and said, well, you call your agent and tell him you won't come to Hays, Kansas, unless you can stay in his house. My house was well designed to give parties because the whole back part of it didn't have any windows. And then there was a sliding glass door that opened onto an enclosed patio. So noise didn't get out there. And because we'd start at 10:30 at night and go till 1 sometimes. Then I'd have to get up the next day and feed the breakfast to the entertainer, or sometimes I got to know him well enough to say, you know, find your way through the kitchen. We produced a semester calendar, and I wish I don't have a single one of them. I do have a cup that has the coffee houses for one semester on it, that we did 6 coffee houses per semester, 2 nights each. They were my favorites. I preferred them to the large ones, really. They were held over here in Custer. Had been in a bar like in the back of it, and had closed because we weren't selling any beer. So it would have been vacant. We had groups of 2 and 3 sometimes. That's about it, though. But we had a super entertainment, and the kids were right close and practically in their lap, and it was really, really nice. We also, of course, brought in movies. We did outdoor concerts by the creek. We did jugglers and, you know, all the big things in the courtyard there. We put some bands in the courtyard, the porch of the Union. We did I don't see how the kids kept up with all of it. They were really good. Well, I brought circuses into the Coliseum. With the Royal Lichtenstein Stallions, we brought them in twice. And the Rodeo Club helped take care of them. And I told the advisor to the Rodeo Club that I would pay them, because the second time we had to put them up and feed them. And he said, well, you can pay us and we'll appreciate it, but you really need to know that they want to be around those horses so bad they'll probably pay you. The AIDS quilt was, I felt, really needed out here in this part of Kansas. It was being shown in Topeka and in Wichita, of course, but not in really western Kansas. And I wanted it because people needed to know that it was basically a sex disease and not a gay disease or anything like that. Anybody could get it. We went in conjunction with student health, where they bus students in and have a class about AIDS. We ended up having, I think, about 12,000 people, or 14,000. We were the only university to do it in Kansas, and we were the largest display of a town our size in the United States. And so that got us a lot of attention nationally, I guess you'd say. The display was beautifully done in Gross Coliseum on the wall, and you could walk behind the bleachers down on the first floor, and we had it hung on both sides, and it was like going down a hallway. And it was really great. We had a wonderful opening ceremony and with a symphony playing and everything. The town people were very, very cooperative. And a lot of them, just a lot of them came. It was really something.